Okay, so take two on this, mainly because...
Doesn't matter, let's get into it. Oh my fucking god. I was pissed when the casting was first revealed. I doubted Ariana Grande. I didn't think she could do the dramatic parts. I'm eating my fucking words. She was phenomenal.
It's extremely late at night, and at least I'm probably heading straight to bed.
I'm wired as fuck now.
You're always wired.
Oh my god.
But
It's so good.
if you haven't figured it out, especially by what we're both wearing...
My 15 to 20-year-old Wicked jackets from high school.
Which shows you how old you are.
Shut up.
Anyway, we just got out of Wicked Part 1.
I need Part 2 now.
Well, we gotta wait a year.
I don't want to wait a year. Put me in a coma. Wake me up when it's out.
How else am I getting to work if you're in a coma?
I don't know, Uber. Get some sympathy points from someone. Anyway.
What is wrong with you?
I need to inject this movie into my bloodstream. That's what's wrong with me.
Okay, so first things first, which, you know, like I said, this is the second time we're trying to record this, so we're basically repeating everything we said. Until now, I personally had not seen any of this. I haven't read the book. Ow, my elbow popped. I haven't read the book. I haven't seen the play, even though my brother was in it in high school. And I have not even listened to the soundtrack. Surprisingly that you didn't put it on when we got in the car.
I was going to be scream singing that shit. It was for your own good.
But
on the other hand, I've been obsessed since roughly like 2006, 2007. I've seen it twice. I've read the book more times than I can count. I know the soundtrack backward and forward. You don't know this part yet, because I don't think I've ever told you. My senior pictures were Wicked themed. My high school senior pictures.
And you haven't shown me those?
I don't think I even still have them.
I didn't do my senior pictures because I didn't care enough.
Yeah, so I was kind of exactly the fucking target audience for this shit.
So, if you're like me and you've never read any or don't know anything about it, it is loosely based in an expansion of the Wizard of Oz books and movie with Judy Garland. It was 1920, right?
More the books, and it was 1937, 36, 37. It was very close to the release of Snow White. I remember that.
But this is the witch's story and not Dorothy's story. It follows everything from before Dorothy shows
1939.
up. It shows up right before Dorothy even gets into the land of Oz and how she becomes the Wicked Witch, basically.
I want to see if you can figure out where Elphaba got her name if I give you a hint.
I already know.
What was it then?
The author took the original author's name and combined it.
It's a portmanteau of L. Frank Baum.
Yeah. The only reason I know that is because TikTok.
I've known that for a while.
For some reason, my FYP decided it was going to try to spoil the movie. And that was one of the random facts that popped up on my feed.
I went in blind, aside from, the encyclopedic knowledge.
But...
Oh, there was also another name hint. So, in the car, you figured out that we've already seen the Tin Woodsman. Mm-hmm. I want you to remember what Bach said his name was.
Bach?
Bach. What was his last name?
I don't remember.
His last name is Woodsman.
Wow. So, we'll get to that.
This is a spoiler-heavy review, by the way, so if you don't want spoilers, get the fuck out. You've been warned. Including a cameo. I will be spoiling the shit out of that, so get out now.
Yeah,
that's your warning.
Since you did the warning, let's tell them what you did when you saw the cameo.
You were in flailing distance. That's an occupational
This
hazard being married to
asshole-
me. I don't know what you want from me.
This asshole just, bam! Like, out of the blue, just hit me straight in the crotch.
You were within flailing distance.
They're still there.
You were within flailing distance.
No, don't, stop using that as an excuse.
It's 11 o'clock. Stop yelling.
You act like we have neighbors.
We literally have neighbors on both sides of us, and we share that wall.
But, like, you see, he just fucking, I'm like, ow, why?
And I promptly shushed her so that I could hear Idina Menzel singing, because yes, the cameo was Kristen fucking Chenoweth and Idina Menzel. I was losing my shit. And the fact that
And
I
I was
didn't hear
losing my
anybody else in the theater screaming, I was in the theater with a bunch of fucking uncultured swine who didn't know anything, apparently.
So,
There was not enough screaming and excitement for that moment.
so to start at the beginning, which is one of the things that I guessed correctly, apparently. The reason the Wicked Witch is green is because her mother cheated on her father with...
The wizard.
Basically, it's alluded to that it's the wizard, but he doesn't... I don't know if he knows that she is...
He suspects, but he never knows, and this is a fact that is never actually explicitly stated anywhere in the book or in the musical. It is never explicitly stated that she is green because of the wizard's green elixir, and it is never explicitly stated that the wizard is her father. You're
It's
just
just
supposed to...
It's heavily implied.
You're supposed to figure it out, and the double roll that most people don't catch as a double roll unless they pay attention to the credits or the
Like I
playbill.
did.
Yeah. Is that the affair with Melina Thropp, I don't think her name is even mentioned in the musical or the movie, but yeah, the affair that she has is with the wizard. Like, it's mentioned, the character is credited to the actor who plays the wizard.
Yeah.
So it's stated without being stated in the text.
So, you know, her father, she's born green. Her mother dies giving birth to her sister. And her father basically completely despises Elphaba. And so she grows up the outcast. She's constantly mocked and...
She's blamed for her sister being the way she is because her mother chewed milk flowers during her whole pregnancy to make sure that this baby didn't come out green. Also, it is very much indicated in the book that that was her father's urging to
try to
make
kill
sure...
the baby.
No. To make sure the baby didn't come out green. Like I said, no one said anything about killing the baby. You're just fucking putting words in his mouth.
Giggity.
But, yeah, it's, you know, his fault, but he blames her because really it's her fault because she's green, even though she had no say in that. That was your cheating whore of a wife. But, you know.
Piranha keeps wanting to be in the shot.
Piranha, are you trying to photobomb?
But he... So, you know, she grows up, she tries to drop off her sister at basically a university, and you see that, you know, she has these powers that she tries to, you know, control, and she loses control anytime she gets angry.
And she ends up getting angry because Nessarose, her sister, is trying to do things by herself. She's trying to, you know, just make her way to her room, and this busybody of a teacher is trying to suck up to the mayor or the governor of Munchkinland's daughter and trying to push her wheelchair, which, you know, this is a life tip here. Don't push someone's wheelchair without asking them first. Don't just assume. Ask if they need help, and then act accordingly, whether the answer is yes or no. So she's trying to just push Nessarose around, and Elphaba gets rightfully pissed and loses control of her magic and throws a bunch of shit around. And Madame Morrible, who is the sorcery professor, who barely has any magic of her own, sees this and immediately knows that Elphaba is the missing piece they've been looking for because, you know, we've all seen the original Wizard of Oz. The wizard has no actual powers. He's not a wizard, he's a con man.
He's
And
the
Madame...
man behind the glass.
Curtain. Can't even get the line right.
Curtain, glass, same diff. You knew what I meant.
Show me a glass curtain, ma'am. Anyway. Words mean things. So, he has no actual power of his own. Madame Morrible has very little, but Elphaba has a lot. So, Madame Morrible is immediately trying to get Elphaba on board, more or less. Well, through this whole thing, in the midst of Glinda and Elphaba becoming friends, because Glinda has this character growth, and that is the part that I was nervous about. I knew that Ariana Grande could do the Ditz part well. We've all seen Victorious, we've all seen Sam and Cat, we know she's got that part down.
I've actually not seen Sam and Cat. I have seen Victorious.
It's basically the same character. It's literally the same character, so you've seen it more or less. But, I knew she could do that part. I was nervous about the singing, and I was nervous about the dramatic acting.
Why were you worried about singing when she's literally a professional singer?
Because there's a difference between pop and Broadway. And too many people forget that very distinct difference. Yeah. I don't know if she's classically trained, but she is
She was classically trained.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that. But within the first 5 minutes, I was crying because she was actually so fucking good in this. Like, those high notes just... I have no words. I have no fucking words. Perfect spot on Glinda. The only casting that could have possibly done better would have been if they actually made this movie 10, 15 years ago when they first talked about making it and used the original cast. That's the only way you were going to get better than this casting that we got.
Agreed.
Literally the only way. And we still did end up getting Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth midway through the movie in the One Short Day scene. In the Wizardmania section, they played
where
characters...
I got one more punch in the crotch.
Look, you want them gone anyway.
That's not the point!
But that part was actually added just for the movie. That's more... I think it was based more off of something in the book. I would have to reread it. I don't quite remember what the Emerald City scenes were like in the book. It's been at least 10 years since I've read it.
Well, anyone who wants to read the book, we're not sponsored, but it is free on Audible right now.
It's also always free from your local library, which I will, shill for way before I'll shill for an Amazon company. Like, I keep telling this one, just fix your library card and get Libby. And she goes, no, I'd rather pay $15 a month for Audible.
Or, Libby doesn't actually work half the time, so it's not whether or not I fix it. I'm tired of fixing it. I've fixed it multiple times, but that's neither here nor there.
It's also a you problem, because I've literally never had a single issue.
And half the time, the library doesn't have shit that I actually listen to.
I mean, also a you issue.
It is a me issue, but that's not the point.
You just like overpaying for your superhero books. It's okay.
I don't pay anything for them.
Is it?
I pay the membership.
Which is paid. Anyway. But your library probably has it, because unlike her niche superhero books, this is, like, super popular, though it might have a wait list at your local library at this point in time because of how popular the movie is. Yeah. But, hey, your local library might be open to the idea of ordering more copies. You never know until you ask. If that's just a pro tip in general. If there's not enough copies going around at your library, see if they'll order you another one. Anyway. But I think what I was saying about the book, I think this part might have been in the books, but again, it's been like 10 years since I've read it. I don't actually remember. But there was a part in the One Short Day sequence. It's not in the musical. I mean, it's kind of shown in the musical, the quick little story of the wizard, but this goes into more depth and detail into, like, the backstory of the wise ones, in this case, Chenoweth and Menzel, who, like, left a prophecy because magic was dying out, and someday this wizard will come and be able to read the Grimoire. Spoiler alert, wizard can't read shit. But Elphaba can.
Yeah. So, the main plot, again, for those who've never actually read the book, is that in this world, animals are slowly being basically persecuted. And I mean, not like, this thing over here. But
There is a difference between animals little a and animals big A. Animals little a are just, like our cats. They don't talk, they're not sapient, they're just cats. They exist, they're animals doing their own thing. But animals, capital A, are sapient, they are more human-like, they are physically animals, but they can talk.
They have their own
Yeah.
personalities, etc., etc.
Speech and thinking on level with a human.
And because of how Elphaba is treated throughout her own life, she understands what they're going through, so she's basically an activist for it, and is instantly like, why are these animals being treated this way? Literal, like you said in the other one, a literal scapegoat.
Yes, Dr. Dillamond is a goat professor at Shiz. He is the only animal professor teaching there when Elphaba starts because of what's been happening in the background. And we find out that animals have been losing their power of speech. They have been not only persecuted and driven out, but they are literally losing the thing that makes them unique. They are losing their ability to speak. And that was one of the songs that got a line cut out that I thought would have been better left in.
Which song?
Something Bad, when they're the animal meeting. Because they got through most of it. They got through Dr. Dillamond's voice break, where instead of saying something bad, he bleats. And then has to correct himself and say the word without bleeding again. But, the ending line, which they didn't put in, which I kind of wish they had, partially because I want to hear it in Cynthia Erivo's voice, because, oh my god, I want to hear everything in her voice now. But the last line, it couldn't happen here in Oz. Like, we missed that moment of absolute denial. Like, there's no way it could happen. And that's the one nitpick, is there's a couple of lines that I wish would have been left in because they give that something more. And I wish we had had that moment more of denial to make it really hit home more.
Well, denial...
It's nearly a 3-hour movie. It had the time for that 10 seconds.
Yeah. Well, denial is a river in Egypt. Anyway.
They also, within the first 2 minutes, I will say, within the first 20 seconds, they cut out a line that I was very disappointed. There's been so much rumor, and I was waiting for innuendo, outuendo. I'm sorry, that's the funniest fucking line. It should have been left in. I want more Linda being a ditz in the first part. That was...
But, so, the whole story is... Elphaba slowly unravels what's actually going on, and by the end of this part of the 2 movies, she finally embraces who she is as a person, while simultaneously being used again as a scapegoat, because the wizard wants someone to blame for them doing everything to the animals.
The best thing that brings people together is a good villain. Nothing brings people together like hating something.
And, there's little references to Wizard of Oz throughout as everything's going on. The cute guy ends up helping Elphaba save the
Fiyero, Titular Bisexual Disaster.
Yeah, the tiger.
Fiyero
the
has not.
Lion cub.
Fiyero has not been gayer since Adam Lambert played him. Like this bisexual disaster of a man. I love it. I have no idea what the actor's actual sexuality is, but he exudes bisexual disaster, and honestly, so on
So do
brand.
you.
Because it's accurate. But so on brand for this character.
But basically, they just sprinkle little future stuff here and there.
Her face when she realized who the Scarecrow is.
But I enjoyed the movie. We did have a lot more to talk about the first time around, but now I'm kind of exhausted.
I mean, I could still talk about this for another hour and a half. You can go to sleep, leave the camera rolling.
No! If you are a fan of Wizard of Oz, you are going to enjoy this. If you like the musical, you'll enjoy this. I honestly feel like it is one of the best stage production to film in a long ass time.
The music is just popular, Dancing Through Life, and Defying Gravity. Like, those are three of the biggest numbers in the show. Really, this show kind of front loads its big numbers. Like, Defying Gravity is the one that, if you don't know the show, you still kind of know that.
I only knew the song because of my brother.
But anyway, like, and you really need to hit home. You need to have someone who is very good, and you need to do these songs justice, and they did. Like, they were extended. Dancing Through Life is, I think, a good 5 to 7 minutes in the musical, I want to say. The whole sequence, the collection of scenes, I really can say, I guess, was padded out to like 20 minutes. Like, that's why this runtime is so long. It expands upon itself a lot. The songs are greatly extended, but it works. It somehow works. Like, I know the songs and I know the stage pacing, so I was a little bit twitchy, like, where's the next line, where's the next line, but now that I know how it's paced, it fit, it worked. Dancing Through Life was goddamn phenomenal. I'm a little bit... They changed Elphaba's choreography, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about it, but I liked it. It did work. It ended up being more distinctive than it is in the stage show. Like, I'm used to things on stage being bigger than they are in movies, and they kind of flipped the script on this one, and her dance is bigger in the movie than on the stage, and I guess it kind of makes sense. They had more room to work with. They could put her in this bigger, expansive area. They're not limited to a stage.
Which song was Dancing Through Life?
That was Fiyero's in the Oz Dust Ballroom.
Gotcha.
And it was bigger, it was more expansive. I was getting ready for the original choreography, which never quite came through, but you could see nods to it, which I did enjoy. And then Popular. I'm eating my fucking words. I didn't think she was the right casting for this, but I was fucking wrong. I mean, I've never been so happy to be wrong in my entire life. I really haven't. She knocked it out of the damn park. And Cynthia, oh my god. We could not have picked a better Elphaba for this. Again, unless we're gonna go back to some of the original casting, unless this movie had been made 10 plus years ago, unless we could have gotten Idina Menzel or Eden Espinosa, it could not have been better. She was phenomenal, which brings us to Defying Gravity. Everyone knows that line. Everyone knows that line. Idina got to reprise her line. Part of the vocalization, I don't know if you caught it, but I caught it, because I know that song backwards, forwards, upside down. I blew my voice out trying to do it in high school before my voice had dropped enough that I could. If you're not a belter, you're not a belter. Don't push it. My voice teacher yelled at me. But that... like that... I was way off key there, but you know what I mean. If you know the song, you know what I mean. I was waiting for it because I'm like, this is the make or break of an Elphaba part. It is, how well do you hammer home Defying Gravity? Do you make me lose my breath at that line? And she did. Like, I was just in awe. I couldn't even cry.
You kept grabbing my arm and my leg. Like, come on. I am not a freaking squeezy toy.
I need to bring a stress ball to the next one. She was phenomenal. Like, goosebumps. Like, I have no words. She was absolutely incredible. This casting could not have been better. Like, I really was prepared to hate this. I didn't understand why it had to be 2 parts. I didn't understand the casting at first. I mean, Cynthia Erivo, I did understand as soon as I saw that she had a Tony. Like, I wasn't familiar with her work, but I trusted the credentials. And from the little bit of her voice I had heard before going into this, I was not concerned. I knew she was going to do well. She still exceeded my expectations. Like, this was incredible. The vocals were stunning. I need to confirm this, but I heard it a little bit when they moved from place to place and the echo changed. I have heard that they did not use voiceovers for this. They recorded the live audio as they were filming, and that was the singing. I've heard they did that. I need someone to confirm this, because that makes it even better. But the music was just... I was so ready for it to not be done well. Because I think we're all used to, Broadway musicals getting a movie version, and for them to cast questionably.
Whoever's popular, pun intended.
Like, much as I love the 2004 Phantom of the Opera, none of those people should have fucking been in it. They're all great. Musicians they are not. What?
Why are you gonna bring up that movie?
I broke the DVD in high school. I fucking loved it, alright? But still...
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. That's what every theater nerd says. But not all of us have the money to fucking see it in a stage version, now do we? I say as I've seen the stage version of Wicked twice. But that tours more than Phantom does, okay? Anyway. So we're all used to questionable casting choices, even going back to Les Mis. I mean, who the fuck had the idea to cast Russell Crowe in that? Like, why?
An idiot.
Yeah. So I was not expecting much. But literally the only people who aren't that good aren't supposed to be that good. Like, the Wizard and Madame Morrible were... I think Madame Morrible was an intentional choice on her part to, like, keep the singing at a minimum and, like, keep her... She doesn't have much impact in her voice, and I think that was a very intentional move on the actress's part to keep it minimal and not as memorable, because you're not supposed to, be going like, oh my god, that character is amazing with the singing. And Jeff Goldblum is Jeff Goldblum, so, we get what we get. We get what we get. But...
I wasn't expecting to hear him sing at all.
It's okay. Sentimental Man is the only time he sings. Singing Jeff Goldblum cameos.
It was weird. I don't like it.
You're not really supposed to. But, this was phenomenal. Oh, before we go, you wanted me to be the Easter egg person, so how's this for an Easter egg? You like copyright stuff.
Uh-huh.
And you know how music copyright works, where once you hit a certain number of notes, you've now hit copyright infringement land and can get sued.
Depends on how the notes are, but yes.
Did the Unlimited theme. Unlimited. Does that make you think of anything?
Over the Rainbow.
Somewhere over the rainbow. Same notes. Schwartz stopped 1 note short of copyright infringement when he did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my favorite fun fact.
That was one of the few things I did know.
Probably because
but that was because of Matt, my brother.
I'm fairly sure I also told you that at least like 58 times.
Nope. Steven told me that back in high school.
Well, I'm still claiming it because I know I've also told you that. You probably just blocked it out because you already knew it.
Probably. But go see it. If you are a fan of the musical, the book, the original Wizard of Oz, if you are a fan of the franchise, go see it. It is great.
If you're not a fan of any of it, go see it anyway. I'm probably going to see it at least 3 more times before it leaves theaters.
I have no problem seeing it again.
Yes! Not like Lisa Frankenstein where I have to go 3 times by myself.
That being said, thank you for watching. I love you all.